Well, welcome to the Christy Jones Show, where it's all about living your life to the fullest. I'm a life coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate, and I've had wild success in multifamily housing for over 25 years now. I am so passionate about helping others merge their success and lead a fulfilling life, and I bring it all together right here on this podcast. So join me and let's get started to live your life to the fullest. Well, hey, my friends, welcome back to the podcast. And I am so glad you're tuning in today because you do not want to miss this episode. It's going to be exactly what you need right now. So today I'm going to talk about the next level and why that next level is why it's requiring a different version of yourself to show up, to do the thing. You're wanting to make a shift, whether that's in business or life or in your personal life, because as you know, here on the podcast, it's all about thriving in business and life. I'm always bringing you nuggets that are something you can actually put to work for yourself in business and life to be thriving at the highest level. And I want to dive into this because your next level requires a different version of you. You cannot show up in that version of who you are right now and expect to get to that next level, to do that next thing that you're holding in your brain, that you have on maybe your vision board or your goal sheet, or just that thing that you're holding in your heart of what you want. So as you know, I help ambitious professionals stop playing small and create more success and more fulfillment in their lives. And I do that by shifting their mindset, taking bold action, and refusing to settle. That mindset of refusing to settle for the status quo. So I'm going to dive into this today. It's going to be like, I know you're going to walk away. You're not going to have to take a lot of notes on this. You're going to get it. Whether you're walking, driving, whatever you're doing right now, like this is going to be something that is just going to stick. I know it is. So I'm going to talk about why you stay loyal to that old version of you. Also touch on habits for your next level self. And also I want to touch on what is the difference, because I get this question a lot, and this comes up in my sessions a lot, of the difference between wanting and becoming. Very distinct differences. And so I'm going to touch on those today here on this episode. Also, share this episode if it resonates or if you think of someone that they need to hear this message, and like and follow the podcast. Your reviews mean everything. It helps grow the podcast as well. So I really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If this is on Apple or Spotify, be sure you like and follow the show so you never miss an episode. So let's get started on why you're staying loyal to the older or the existing version of yourself. Maybe a version of you that you've just been operating in for a really long time because, it's kind of worked. It maybe keeps you in that safe zone. I talked about how last week on the podcast, I talked about how safety has a ceiling. You're going to play it safe. You're only going to go so far. So you have to be willing to get out of that safe zone. So why are you staying loyal to that old version, the existing version of you that really is not going to take you to that next version, that next level of your business or of your life, of yourself, of your personal development? Whatever this thing is for you, it's always different for every one of my clients, the things that they're wanting to take to the next level. So you know what that is for you. So what I'm going to share with you, I want you to just be thinking of how this applies to you. How can you use this for what's weighing on your mind and your heart right now? So why you stay loyal to that version of you is this. It's comfort. It's familiarity. It's because it's been working kind of a little. Well, for the most part, those are the things that you're telling yourself. It just feels regular, comfortable, and we like to be comfortable. But comfort does not equal growth. Comfort does not get you to that next level. You want to make more money? If that's like a pain point for you right now and you're wanting to get out of a certain situation, you want to get some financial freedom, you're going to have to get a little uncomfortable. We can't be doing the same things, being that same version of ourselves that we've been, because we got to step out of that. We got to evolve past that. So it's crazy town thinking to think that we can be the existing version of who we are, an old identity that we're stuck with. It's crazy town thinking to think that that is going to move us and evolve us into that next level. So we just have to like get the eraser and just erase that, because that's crazy town thinking. We have to get out and move beyond that existing version of who you are. Maybe, and like I said, a lot of times these are old identities. These are things that we've just been operating in for a long time, but it's not going to take you to your next level. So, story time. I think of this when, and I've been doing some work in a master class that I'm in. And as you know, if you've been following, you know that I'm working on refining my keynote speech. And it's causing me to really dig in and look at some things and talking points. And so this is fresh on my mind because I just went through this inside that master class on a project that I was working on. So story time of when I first started out in releasing an old identity and walking in and creating a new identity. That was back in that time. Again, if you're new here, this is new information to you. If you're not new here, you've heard this before. But I was a single mom on government assistance and really like struggling. I had my 2-year-old son. We lived in a trailer, um, you know, literally like surviving, trying to figure out how to put the moving parts of my life together to create something better. And 3 part-time jobs, all the things. And I obviously, confidence wasn't at the highest level at that point in my life. It's very safe to say that. So I had faith and I made a bold decision. I knew the decision I made is we are not staying in this situation. I will figure it out. Extremely determined. Knowing that I can't have this old identity of who I am and expect to go to my next level. I ended up taking a job in the apartment business. That's how I got started in this fabulous industry of multifamily housing. And I took that job and I performed at that job. I did well at that job. And one of the ways that I did that to get started in that industry is I had to create and I had to visualize and I had to show up as a different version of Christy, a different version of myself. I had to attach to a new identity. I had to shed the old skin and step in to the new version. That is true for you as well. You cannot hold on to the old, the expired. That version, it probably has an expiration date. Look at it that way. Our identities, they often have expiration dates. It is no longer serving the highest good for you. It is not going to move you to that next level of freedom, of success, of abundance, of fulfillment. So it is time to shed, just because we don't have to stay loyal to that identity of what we used to be or what we are now. Literally, it can change in a snap. You just decide. You have to start there. You decide. Habits for your next level self. Let me talk on those a bit. One of the ways that I learned this, having habits to have the new identity. Quick little story on that for how this really embedded with me, and I really got it going through in my 40s and health wise, like perimenopause and our metabolism changes, and I'd always worked out and I ate well. I've never been into diet culture or anything like that, but because I've always been active, I've been able to just eat and fuel my body. But I noticed that I wasn't feeling as great. It was all the perimenopause things, right? And hanging on to weight a little bit more than I had before. So I had to analyze and look at the habits that I had and the habits that I had and what needed to change. Doing the things that I did from 25 to 35 to 40, that didn't necessarily meaning in my workouts and in the way I ate and the supplements that I took might have worked then, but is it the habits that work for me now in this new identity? And so during that time, I really learned I've got to switch up my habits. I got to change some things. I've got to try some different habits. I got to create some different structures to set myself, if this is the level I'm wanting to go, if this is how I'm wanting to feel in my life, if this is the energy level I want to have, if I want to, age with power, I have got to look at the habits and then decide what new habits do I need to just cling on to get to that next level. And that really made a lot of sense to me. And so, in doing so, by adopting new habits that supported where I was, what the goals I had, and how I wanted my overall wellness and my health, and how my body felt and how it looked, and my brain, that was a big brain health, huge. How you feel, like, are you firing on all cylinders? Very important for me. And so I honed in those habits. I analyzed, I changed. I didn't cling to the old habits. I got new ones that worked. And when one wasn't, what this part maybe isn't working so great. Let me relook at that. Let me analyze that. What can I change? So you have to be open to adopting new habits in order to get to that next level. Don't be so stuck to what used to work that you don't look at what actually works now for where I'm at and the identity and the level that I'm wanting to move into. So that the great news about that is you have full control over that. You have full control over changing your habits. Is it hard? Yeah, it can be hard sometimes. It really can. Again, it goes back to comfort. We like routine, we like safety, we like comfort. But none of that, those words do not correlate with next level. They do not correlate with your growth. They do not go along with you stepping in to that next level of your life, to your business, whatever that is for you. So we have to analyze the habits. We have to be willing to change those habits. So let's talk about the difference between wanting and becoming. Such a good one, because we all have things that we're wanting. We're wanting to have that next level happen in our life. We're wanting that new identity that we see ourselves, the life that we envision ourselves experiencing. We want that. So honestly, it's really easy to want it. It's another thing to actually become it. So wanting is, you and I can sit here right now, just passively thinking about the things that we would want to experience in our life, to feel throughout our day, the way I want my health and wellness to be, the way I want my business to be, the way that I want my financial freedom to be, the way that I want my relationships to be. We all have wants. We can be wanting it to death. The difference is wanting is very passive. It's just like being in the audience. It's just, you're not actively doing anything. You're just kind of like wanting it. If you're in the audience, you're just taking in whatever's on, if there's a performance there and you're in the audience, or you're watching a sporting event, you're just taking it in. You're experiencing it, you're enjoying it, but you're not the one in the ring, on the court, on the stage. So wanting something is I call it much more passive, and we all do it. We all do it. We all have things that we're wanting for. Very human, very normal. Like that is pretty normal. But wanting does not equal getting there. Wanting does not equal you becoming that next level of you. Wanting your business to grow does not equal your business growing. Wanting a better connection with your partner, a better marriage, a better boyfriend, a better girlfriend, whatever, you insert the word, wanting that does not equal that happening. So becoming is a very action oriented thing. Becoming, latching onto that new identity, shedding the old, stepping into the new, that is active. That requires movement. That requires effort on your part. Wanting and becoming, there's a huge separation between those two things. And the individuals that are going to rise up to that next level in their life, in their business, whatever that is for you, there is a whole lot of activity that goes on between the wanting and the becoming. And yes, that means a little discomfort. And yes, that means doing things in a different way, adopting new habits, shedding old identities. Not the first time something feels uncomfortable and creating this new version of myself, stepping into this next level and this new identity. I'm moving towards that. But it's the first resistance or the first uncomfortable moment, I'm rushing back to the old identity. That isn't how that works. You have to catch yourself in those moments of discomfort. Catch yourself in those moments of when, yes, it is going to be a little bit stretching yourself right now. It might have a little tension feeling, but guess what? You'll be fine. You can do this. This builds resilience. This is what gives you what you need for the next time this comes around, because it'll come around again. Resistance, these things always show up. You get better and better and better at working through it. It's like working out. When we strengthen our mind and we do these reps in things that are maybe hard right now, maybe feel that resistance, you want to go back to the comfortable ways. But if you do the rep, trust me, the more you do the rep, the stronger that you're going to get, and the more automatic it will become for you the next time you hit that wall. The next time you're faced with that resistance or that challenge to go to that next level, you'll be like, you won't even really think about it. You just be like, yeah, you acknowledge it. Yeah, this sucks. I've got to go over this little obstacle. This challenge came up. But you're not going to feel like the retreat mode. Like, I just want to go back to what I was. You won't do that because you've been doing the reps. So we have to do these reps, these practice rounds within our mindset. And it gets easier and easier and easier. It gets easier each and every time. I really feel like this blueprint along the way of my life, of my life and my career, that I've built a blueprint for resilience, focus, and leadership under pressure. I wrap all that together inside the Flourishing Edge. If you want to know more about that, you can go down in the show notes. You'll find my website. You can reach out to me there. But it is very important that we don't expect that next level in our existing or old identity. It is going to require you to step into that new version of yourself. Don't stay loyal to the old version. Be open to that new version of you. Be open to change your habits, to level that up, to match where you're going. And then know the difference between wanting and becoming. There's a space, that gap that's in between those two things. That's the work that we get to do. to become everything to our maximum potential so that you can build the life that you truly desire. And I want that for you. Okay, my friend, thank you so much for being here today. Again, down in the show notes, you'll find all the links. If you need a resource, check out the website, know more about the Flourishing Edge. It'll be all down below. Until next time, have a fabulous week and step into that new identity. Step into that new identity. I cannot wait to meet you. I just want to thank you for tuning in today to the podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversation and all the info that's been shared today. And I hope you've come away with a few ideas on how to make the most out of it for your life. If you loved this episode, be sure to share it with your friends and family. And also make sure you subscribe to the podcast and tap that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Also, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would leave a podcast review. So until next time, my friend, keep flourishing and thriving and live your life to the